become a member. I actually remember the application when I was a member a few years ago, and I actually thought that it was a pretty intense application, and the questions, quite honestly, were very fitting and very relevant. There's a part there that actually questions to see if you're LHPA caliber, like a gut check to see if you're worthy of being part of this esteemed group. I'm very proud to say that I got all of them right, and I proved that I belong with such an esteemed group. I actually brought the application, my original application, with me, and I was wondering if you'd care to hear it, and to see how you would do. I'm going to ask you some questions, and please feel free, if you know the answer, to shout them out. If you don't follow, because it's a little bit in Spanish, turn to a friend, might have lighter skin, and explain it. Have you ever been spanked with a chancla or chancleta? If you answered yes, you can be on the LHPA. Do you keep your pots and pans in the oven? If you're laughing, it's because you do, or you grew up in a household that does. Have you ever used your lips and your nose to point at something? So if you're laughing, we want you on board. Do you have to say bendición to everybody in the room on the way in and again on the way out? If you do, then you might be an LHPA member. Now I'm going to ask you to fill in the blanks. Feel free to fill them in. It's not Vicks Vapor Rub, it's Beats Paparu. Yes, it is. When you get hurt, you rub it and you say, sana sana colito de rana, se sana soy. Las mañana. And finally, we all know this. Where's Puerto Rico? Is Puerto Rico here? Yes. You know this. As soon as the plane lands, you and your family immediately start to what? Clap. I want you to keep that clap going, keep that applause going. LHPA President, the Blue Cruz, Co-Vice President, Dr. Hector Ortiz. Co-Vice President, Dr. Olalia Garcia Damina. Our Treasurer, Professor Maria Diaz. Our wonderful Marketing Coordinator, Yolani Neifer. I also want to acknowledge our two friends that are not in attendance, our note taker and interim secretary, Ms. Amy Liza. And the mother of all Central Pennsylvania Latino, anything and everything that's Latino, the Honorable Professor Yolanda Perez Rivera.
Get the knowledge that they need to become whatever they want to be. Because we know that education is invaluable. Because we know that education is fundamental. So, I would like to close this with one message. Somebody mentioned that knowledge is important. But somebody also mentioned that creativity, imagination, may be even more important than knowledge. So I hope you can support us, you can continue coming. We are preparing another great event for November, and you will love that you are going to be hearing today. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz.
Can you join me in giving a very warm welcome to Dr. Robert Reyes.
Welcome everybody. Can you hear me if I move? Can you hear me in the back? Yeah. Thank you for coming. It's a privilege to be able to do this, and it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to share with others some of the things that we're experiencing here in the central Pennsylvania area. As coming back from Indiana, one of the things that I wanted, after being away for 5 years, I wanted to know personally what has been some of the changes and where was the population at this time. as I'm very much interested in studying the experience of Latino families in our area. And so what you're going to experience is just a summary, if I can, because of the limitation in time. We do want to have time for question and answer. And I guess I can't, as an educator, you bring your way of doing things. So as I would do in my classes, here's a handout. And you need to read the quiz. You have additional information that is coming to you. And what you're receiving is just a summary of a handout that we put together, the students and I, as we began this work. These are my students. The work that you're going to list here today is part of a project as part of my Latino Families course at Messiah College. So here you see them. And at the end of last semester, our dean wanted to do a special research day to highlight some of the work happening in our School of Social Sciences and Education. So some of this information was put in the form of a poster. And so here you see some of our students that helped put some of this information together. And when you see on the title, Annette Cole, Nicole Nagel, and Brianne Holcher, these are these young women that helped us with this work. And here, our students here is at the LHAC. We had an opportunity. You can't have a Latino course without having Latino food. There's no way. You can study Latino culture without experiencing food. And so we were able to visit both and connect with the Migrant Education Program, the Lincoln Intermediary Unit in Chambersburg, and visit Las Palmeras restaurant, a combination of Salvadorian and Mexican food. And then with LHAC, it was catered in, and so we were able to have some Puerto Rican food and visit with Gloria Merrick, that is doing a great job there in the city of Harrisburg. So thank you to some of our students. So as you can see, the evolution of this study was asking the students to look at census information from the American Community Survey, American Fact Finder, and look at demographics in regards to 7 counties in the central Pennsylvania region. So again, in Pennsylvania, obviously there's a number of different counties. These are the counties that we're focusing in as part of this presentation. Originally, it was only Perry, Dauphin, Cumberland, York, Lancaster, Adams, and Franklin, but we added Lebanon as well in order to finish this area. There's some debate, how we call this area, but we were able to find some resources that consider this particular area the South Central region, and so we just needed to add Lebanon in order to add this up. As you take a look at the 2010 census, in comparison to 2000, there had been a significant growth in the Latino population in the last 10 years, from 325,000 individuals to 719,000. So the population continues to grow at an alarming rate, at a significant pace, and we are already seeing that in our region. There is a heavy concentration of Latinos east of us, so there's the higher volume in the eastern part of the state, but we also have, out of that number, we have at least 150,000 people that are Latinos that identify themselves, the census as Latino, that are in this south central Pennsylvania region. Is out of those 150,000 that I wanted to talk to you about today. The perspective here is that if we're able to understand our current demographics as leaders in our community, we may be able to better position our resources in order to move forward in the different projects that we may have. One of the things in higher education that I tell my colleagues is that you really do not get to choose who are the ones that you're going to be serving. These are the people that have come to you. These are the people that reside with you. These are your friends and your neighbors, hopefully your friends, but you don't get to choose. And in higher education, there are all these ideals of the kind of institution we want to be and how do we measure excellence. And this is a reality. So demographics have a way of bringing that reality home and saying, this is our community.